I covered for my boss during a crisis. Then he took all the credit and cut me out. It started with a message at 11:42 p.m. Hey, are you still up? No context. I almost ignored it, but something about the timing made me open it. A minute later, another message came in. It's urgent. I need your help. That's how it always begins. With urgency. With pressure. My boss, Daniel, called me right after. His voice wasn't calm. There's a problem with the client rollout, he said. A big one. I sat up immediately. What happened? There's a data issue. Reports are wrong. If the client sees this in the morning, it's going to blow up. I didn't ask whose fault it was, because in moments like that, none of that matters. Only fixing it. I'm on it, I said. I logged in, pulled the reports, checked the pipelines. Within an hour, I found the issue. A logic error buried in a script pushed earlier that week. It had affected multiple dashboards. This is bad, I told him. I know, can you fix it? Of course I could. For the next few hours, I worked nonstop, debugging, rewriting parts of the script, rerunning reports. By 5:30 a.m., it was stable, clean, accurate, crisis avoided. I sent him the final update. It's fixed. He replied instantly. Great work. I owe you one. That line stuck with me. I went to sleep for a few hours, then joined the client call. Camera off. Just listening. Daniel led the call, confident as always. Walking the client through the updated reports, then he said it. We identified the issue early this morning and resolved it. Because there was no we at 3 a.m. There was just me. Still, I stayed quiet, but then the email came later that afternoon from Daniel. Sent to leadership. Subject line. Client issue resolved. I opened it. He explained everything. The problem, the fix, the recovery, all of it. And my name wasn't in it. Not once. At first, I thought it was an oversight, a simple miss, something he would correct. But he didn't. In fact, it got worse. Over the next few days, Daniel was praised in meetings. Leadership called out his quick thinking, his ownership, his ability to handle high-pressure situations. And every time I sat there listening, waiting for the moment he would say something, anything, he never did. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a mistake. This was a decision. A calculated one, because in moments of visibility, credit isn't shared by default. It's claimed. And the person who speaks first usually owns the story. I didn't confront him immediately. Not because I was okay with it, but because I needed to be sure. So I watched, paid attention, and the pattern became clear. Emails where my work became team effort. Meetings where my contributions were summarized without my name. Moments where visibility existed, but attribution didn't. So I stopped waiting and started documenting every task, every fix, every late night issue, every message where I was the one doing the work. Not for revenge, for clarity. Then I scheduled a one-on-one. When I walked in, he smiled like nothing had happened. Good work on the client issue, he said casually. That almost made it worse, because now I knew he was aware. He just didn't care. So I asked directly, why wasn't I mentioned in the resolution email? He paused just for a second, then gave the expected answer. It was a team effort. That phrase again. The safest way to erase individual contribution. I nodded, not because I agreed, but because I understood. At that moment, I realized something important. If someone is willing to take credit for your work once, they'll do it again and again, until you either accept it or remove yourself from it. So I chose the second option. Within a week, I updated my resume, started applying, took interviews, and this time, I didn't talk about being part of a team. I talked about impact, ownership, results. Because if I didn't claim my own work, someone else always would. A month later, I had an offer. Better role, better pay, and most importantly, better leadership. When I handed in my resignation, Daniel looked surprised, asked why I was leaving, talked about growth, future opportunities, all the things that didn't exist when it mattered. I didn't argue, didn't explain everything. I just said, I'm looking for a place where my work speaks, and my name follows it. On my last day, he told me, you did great work here, and for the first time, I replied honestly, I know, because I had learned the lesson the hard way. At work, effort doesn't guarantee recognition. Visibility does. And if someone else controls the narrative of your work, they control the credit too.